What if I told you that one single country accidentally destroyed the European way of life forever and no one is talking about it? Before the algorithm hides this video to protect the travel industry, hit that subscribe button right now to join the few who actually know the truth. Millions of Europeans are waking up to a shocking new reality. The quiet afternoon siestas and affordable local cafes are vanishing overnight. Why? Because the American tourist invasion did not just bring dollars, it brought an unstoppable wave of gentrification, tipping culture, and digital nomad takeovers that completely priced locals out of their own hometowns. The romantic Europe from movies is completely gone. Local people are angrily fighting back today.
This week I traveled to Europe for the very first time in my entire life, and here are 3 things that I learned that are very different from America. Number 1, the outlets, they're different. They're all different. Look at them. I didn't know this until my boyfriend told me. He was like, we need to get like an adapter. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, because the outlets are different. I was like, why are they different? I don't understand. Number 2, you have to pay to use the public bathroom. I wasn't prepared for this. It's about €1 depending on where you go, which is close to $1.15 in American dollars. That I was also not prepared for. And number 3, the sun doesn't set till almost 10 p.m. Let me show you. It is currently 9:15 and it looks like it's 6:15. Europe is just filled with so many beautiful surprises. I think I'm gonna move here.
Americans have this incredible superpower of making you feel like you've been best friends for 10 years within exactly 5 minutes of meeting them. If you're from Europe, this completely breaks your brain. You meet someone at a networking event or a bar, you have this deep, high-energy conversation about business, life and passion projects, and you leave the interaction thinking, wow, I just made a genuine connection. But here's the culture shock. In the US, that intense friendliness isn't the start of a deep relationship. It's just a baseline for a polite, casual interaction. It's an amazing warm vibe in the moment, but it doesn't mean you're locked into each other's lives. Back home, if someone opens up to you like that, you're basically invited to their wedding. Out here, it just means you had a great Tuesday evening together. Once you stop taking the instant warmth as a lifetime commitment, it actually becomes a lot more fun to navigate. But it definitely takes some getting used to. How long did it take to you figuring out that difference? Let me know.
I think it's funny when Europeans are like, you're American, you only speak one language, right? That's not a flex. You had to learn my language so you could communicate with me. You're my bitch!
Sorry, last video about ignorant Europeans. The one other thing I will just say that annoys me is recently I was on a trip in Greece and these Dutch people were like, where are you going after this? And I was like, I'm going back to the US. And they were like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, dead serious, though. And I was like, sorry about what? Like, I live in Carmel, Indiana. The #1 place to live in the United States. Not just this year, but it's frequently #1. And if it's not #1, it's top 5. I was like, I would take that any day of the week over Rotterdam, Netherlands, where it's cloudy for 320 days of the year. Like, these people just have no clue. It's so ignorant, and it's really rude. Europeans who keep telling me that it's too dangerous to travel to the United States, they've just lost all logic. Here's what bothers me about this argument. It's not ignoring the fact that parts of the United States are dangerous, which I fully acknowledge that they are. Parts of them are far too dangerous for me to ever even consider driving through, let alone like actually getting out and going to. But the number of people who told me, I was in Europe for like 6 months recently, the number of people who told me unpromptedly, like, I wouldn't go to the US because it is too dangerous. It'd be like me saying, I really want to go to France, but there's one section in the city of Paris that's too dangerous, so I'm not going to go. Okay, like, if I went to France, I wouldn't go to that section regardless of whether or not I knew it was dangerous, probably, because those kinds of sections are like out of the way. Like, if you came to Chicago, you wouldn't just go to the south side of Chicago on your own volition. Like, there's no reason to go. If you went to New York City, you wouldn't just go to the South Bronx by yourself. Like, you would be so far, hours of travel away from there if you went to Manhattan. And it just doesn't make any sense. It's like the logic is just not in the room. Like, these people cannot formulate a logical argument. And that's the part that pisses me off. Because if you come to the United States, like, even if you just went to New York City, which I get is like the cool, flashy thing to do, whatever. Again, you would not be in a dangerous area if you were just in like Chelsea or the West Village or something, the Upper East Side, like insert literally any place, let alone entire states Arizona, Wyoming, like beautiful areas where no part of their city, no part of their state even has a violence issue. So it's just beyond logic. Like if I told you I was going to Germany and then my only thing was like, well, I can't go because the Frankfurt train station is dangerous between the hours of midnight and 4 in the morning. That's so fucking stupid. And it would be like, well, I can't go climb the Zugspitze in Bavaria because hours away at the Frankfurt train station, it's a little dangerous at night. Like, do you see how that doesn't work? Does that make sense to you? How that argument makes no sense? Okay, like let's think a little bit. And the World Cup is such a prime example of all of these people coming here. You think the violence in these like shitty areas of big cities in the United States is stopping for the World Cup? We didn't just put it on pause. That stuff is still happening every day, but you don't notice it because you're not there in the first place. No one is, you have no reason to go. Don't worry, you're not going to end up there even by accident.
Can we stop romanticizing Europe? Oh my god, Europe is so much better. Oh my god, Europe is so much cheaper. Food quality is so much better. I never get bloated there. Okay, let me get started. As someone who had lived in Europe and then moved to America, I was actually born and raised in Europe. The reasons why I would never live there. So let me start right off by saying, oh my god, everybody dresses up in Europe. Everybody looks like a supermodel. Yeah, everybody dresses up when in public, but I actually love the fact I don't have to dress up going to a grocery store, going to a post office, or going to a doctor's office. I want to wear whatever I want, whenever I want, without having the obligation or pressure or feel the pressure of society to always look perfect at all times. And it's not good for my mental health because whenever I lived in Europe, I always felt the pressure of looking the best and always watching myself and watching my behavior, the way I look, the way I talk. Just fuck that. I want to just be myself. I don't want to watch myself. Yeah, you don't want to be pissing on the street and be rude as fuck, but also I don't want to be whispering because someone will judge me for that or gossip behind my back because I was a little louder on the street the other day. You know what? That's one of the reasons I would never live there. Second, I never get bloated when I travel to Europe. This is the picture of me after 2 slices pizza in Italy. I do watch what I eat here in America. I try to eat healthy. I read the labels. The regulations are significantly better in Europe, but they still have a bunch of junk selling in stores. They still eat a bunch of junk. I actually think that Europe, when it comes to food, it's incredibly unhealthy as well because I feel like it's so heavy, carb heavy, and my body just can't do that. I was miserable being in Europe. Actually, you know what? TikTok hates me, and the last 3 videos that I tried to record did not save. So, part 1. This is part 1.
Living in the US as a European is like living in the future. And every time I go back to Europe, I'm like, are we in the 2000s? There's so many things that are pretty common in the US and has been like running for like years that in Europe it's pretty new, and one of those is run clubs. I'm not saying Europe didn't have run clubs before, I'm just saying it's become much more common for us average people to join. And I know that a lot of these run clubs in Europe take inspiration from American run clubs because they're pretty open about it. There's also nothing wrong with that. They say Americans are the innovators, and that is 100%.
What I want Europeans to understand as they come into the United States is that we were founded on the idea of living separately based on race. So a lot of our infrastructure is best created, best designed to be separated based on race. It's why the suburbs are so sprawling and have so many roads that are twists and turns, and you have to really you have to have a car in order to get anywhere in the suburbs. In order to get from one end of the suburbs to the other end of the suburbs, it's impossible to do that without a car. It's why city centers are more polluted than the suburbs, because they have less trees than the suburbs. Why? Because white people lived in the suburbs and people of color lived in city centers, and white people couldn't live in dirty pollution, so more trees were planted in the suburbs. And that's what I want you guys to understand as you consider trying to walk here, is that the reason why it's so car-centric is because cars were the thing that helped separate white people from people of color after Jim Crow was outlawed. Before then, they could use the law. They could say, well, the Jim Crow laws say that white people should not drink from the same fountain as black people, right? They shouldn't go to the same schools. Afterwards, they couldn't do that anymore, so they had to come up with clever ways to separate. And cars were the big thing that the government and car companies used to separate white people from people of color. That is why our highways are so wide, because on one end of the highways, on one side of the highway, is white people living in their clean, sprawling, white picket fence suburbs. On the other end of the highway, it's people of color living in dirty city centers. Unless the city is walkable, for the most part, it's where you will find people of color generally, and it's changing now, but that architecture, that infrastructure was based on racism. It was based on race-based segregation, which is why you cannot walk through it. You cannot walk across any kind of highway, because then that would make it too easy for people of color to get to where the white people live.
Most common questions I get asked every single day is, Chase, why do you always leave the US? Why are you always leaving the country? I'll tell you why. It's this right here. Do you see this? Do you see these streets? Do you see where I am walking right now? Do you see everyone outside having fun, drinking, eating, talking, not worrying about work or anything else going on in life? Everyone is just outside. It's 9 p.m. on a Thursday here in London, and everyone's just happy. Like every street I go down, everyone is just enjoying life, and that's what life should be. Life is meant to be enjoyed. And I think we all stress so much about trying to get ahead in life, trying to be successful. Like, what is your ideal version of success? Mine personally is to literally just have a wife and kids and be able to throw the baseball with my son in the yard at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. Give me that and I'll be happy. But so many of us are literally just caught up in this social media world of success where we have to have money, we have to have fame, we have to have all these things, when we've lost the plot. This is the plot right here. Look at this. This is the plot. Thank you. Start enjoying life.
So I'm a European, just moved to the US. Here's the first weird thing I noticed. You cannot open the windows. They are boarded because of storms. And you can only open them up in the summer when they undo the screws. I don't know about you, but me as a European, I open up the windows even during winter just to freshen up the room in the morning and during the night. So this is kind of crazy that I cannot open the window. And I asked my friend, how do I freshen the room? And she's like, oh, just turn on the AC. But
the media look like the fools that they are, because for decades that us in Europe have been lied to about what America is.
And how American people are.
Exactly, yeah. And we've been deceived. Like, it's sad, and it infuriates me, because I've been one of the only people that know, and you've been one of the only people I know that when we say, oh, we're going to America, people are like, oh, maybe I'll never see you again. Yeah, you know what? Maybe you will never see me again.
And not just that, it's been also, why are you going there? Why don't you go somewhere else? And we're like, do you know what? If you don't understand it, it's fine. But now I think they do.
Yeah, and I just cannot explain to you how happy I am right now. I love you, America. Honestly, you've done the world.
I just can't wait to go.
Yeah.
This just makes me think about all the things that the media made me believe about the States before I went to actually experience it myself. And like, yeah, one of the main one was that people were obnoxious, loud, didn't care about you, just care about themselves. The food would make you sick. It was also unsafe.
So I'm a European, just moved to the US. Here's the first weird thing I noticed. You cannot open the windows. They are boarded because of storms. And you can only open them up in the summer when they undo the screws. I don't know about you, but me as a European, I open up the windows even during winter just to freshen up the room in the morning and during the night. So this is kind of crazy that I cannot open the window. And I asked my friend, how do I freshen the room? And she's like, oh, just turn on the AC.
What I learnt as a Brit in America. If you were in the UK and somebody said, oh, the store is over 45 minutes away, let's not do that. That is way too far. Americans will literally drive over 1 hour just to get a drink from a gas station. You think I'm joking? Oh, you're American and your friend lives an hour and a half away, no problem. They will come over just to spend a couple of hours with you, and they will drive back another hour and a half. Oh, a road is over 300 miles long with nothing in sight as you drive along it, no problem. An American will drive it. They will not complain. They will just drive it. I believe Americans are robots when it comes to driving. Honestly, I think it's an inside job, mate. Americans are built different when it comes to driving. I've never seen or witnessed anything like it in my life. Because there's no humanly possible way that anybody would just be chill about driving 45 minutes just to go to a store.
Americans are so fat. Like, they don't know how to take care of themselves. I just entered a Walmart for the first time. They have extra large pizza. And they call it large. They put chili, cheese, ranch, bacon, and jalapenos on fries. And it's delicious. And I'm supposed to be able to finish that. They have 10 different flavors of the same soda. And I tried all 10 of them, and not a single one missed. Oh my god, King James was tripping balls. Oh my god. Their Costco is the same size as one of our regular museums. The World Cup isn't even the best part of being here. It's the
I think my favourite part about living in America as a British person is the optionality in this country. I think a lot of people that live outside of the US understand that there's optionality in the grocery stores, for example. Many different Oreo types you can get and the different peanut butter brands. But I don't think until you live here you can truly understand the optionality that you have within the country when it comes to travel, when it comes to choosing where to live, when it comes to the climate, when it comes to the landscapes. And I feel like you only really get a true sense of it when you are on the ground here, living here. I live in Boston and I'm here in Florida right now visiting family. And it's just that for me. Like, we drove 20 hours, Boston to Florida, and what you see on that drive down, I don't think I'll truly ever get over that I am standing in the exact same country right here in Florida as I was when I was in Boston a couple of days ago. They couldn't be more different, and even just the pace of lifestyle, the service, it's a lot slower, it's a lot different, the people, just everything changes. This is just a small example because if you think about how big the country is, we're only driving down one coast at this point. Between Florida and Boston, you've got places like South Carolina, which I have visited, and that is so different to Florida, even though it's closer, different. They have their own culture, they have their own world. And that's what excites me so much about this country, is just learning all of the different worlds that are in one country. Wonderful. I cannot express to you how different that is, that even though you can get different landscapes, it may be a bit colder in the north of England, I don't think it's anywhere near the same level or scale that in the United States. And then in Boston, and I think sometimes, oh my God, like if I decide that I don't want this weather anymore, or I want a completely different pace of life, I can decide to do that. With my current green card, I can go to another place in the US. It will be completely different. It will be like stepping into a new country, a new experience. That is just a wonderful opportunity. Speak to Americans about it. They don't truly get it because that's all they've ever known. But when you're not from here, I think you value those things so much more highly and never ever take that for granted. The amount of Americans that I've spoken to that just casually tell me that they've moved from one state to another, be completely opposite ends of the world. So it'll be like, oh, I moved from Boston to San Diego, and I'm like, wow. For a job opportunity, I'm like, oh wow, like how are you enjoying it? Like they seem so like chill, like yeah, I'm just moving from this state to this state, like no big deal. And I'm like, it's like a completely different country, different life experience. And that's my thought for this morning on my gorgeous, glorious walk with the pups.